Friendship and companionship are among the greatest blessings that Allah has placed in our lives. They shape our hearts, influence our choices, and guide our journey through this world. In Islam, friendship is not a coincidence. It is a trust. It is a bond that can either bring a person closer to paradise or lead them away from it. It is more than laughter, conversation, or memories. It is a spiritual connection that holds meaning beyond this life. True friendship in Islam is not built upon worldly interests or mutual benefit. It is built upon faith, sincerity, and love for the sake of Allah. The Prophet taught us that a person is upon the religion of their closest companion, meaning your friends are not just people in your life. They are mirrors of your soul. The company you keep either refines your character or corrupts it. Your heart absorbs what it is surrounded by. If you spend time with people of truth, humility, and patience, those qualities begin to grow in you. But if you walk with those who chase the world and forget their Creator, that neglect becomes part of your nature too. That is why choosing your companions is not a small decision. It is one of the most important decisions of your entire life. True companionship is not about how many friends you have, but about having even one who reminds you of Allah when you forget, who lifts you when you fall, and who prays for you even when you are not there. It is someone who doesn't judge you when you struggle, but helps you rise again. It is someone who protects your reputation in your absence and advises you sincerely in your presence. Real friendship is not tested when times are easy. It is proven when life becomes difficult, when you lose your strength, when your faith begins to waver, and yet your friend does not let you fall apart. In the modern world, friendship has become shallow. It is often built on convenience, entertainment, or shared habits, not values. People call each other friends, but the moment hardship appears, that connection fades. People share posts and messages, but rarely share genuine care. Social media has created the illusion of closeness, but taken away the depth of real companionship. Islam brings us back to the essence. It teaches us that friendship is sacred. It is an act of worship when done for the sake of Allah. When two people love each other because of their shared faith, they are connected not only in this life, but will be reunited in the hereafter. That kind of friendship never ends. There is something beautiful about a friendship that revolves around remembrance of Allah. When you remind each other to pray, when you encourage each other to give charity, when you stop each other from sinning, that is not just friendship. It is brotherhood and sisterhood in faith. Such a bond carries a light that never fades. These are the companions who will stand with you when you are alone, who will make dua for you in your absence, and who will be among those whom Allah honors in the next life. The Prophet described the power of this love, a love that has no selfish reason, no worldly goal, just a sincere connection for the sake of Allah. Good companions are a source of light, while bad companions are a source of darkness. A good friend will bring out the best in you. They will correct you with kindness, inspire you with humility, and push you toward goodness. A bad friend, on the other hand, can drag you into the worst version of yourself. They may not command you to sin, but their influence makes you careless. They laugh when you forget your prayers, they silence your conscience, and they normalize disobedience until your heart becomes numb. This is why Islam warns us to be mindful of who we take as friends. One moment of influence can change your direction in life, and one consistent companionship can change your destiny. When you look at the companions of the Prophet, you see the purest example of friendship built on faith. They were bound not by blood or wealth, but by love for Allah and His Messenger. They supported one another not only in comfort but in sacrifice. When one struggled, others carried his burden. When one fell ill, the others prayed and cared for him. They loved each other sincerely, not for personal gain, but for eternal success. Their friendship was a reminder that the strongest relationships are those built for the sake of Allah alone. That is the kind of companionship we should seek, a friendship that nourishes the heart and strengthens the soul. A true friend is someone who tells you the truth even when it hurts. They do not flatter you to please you. They speak honestly because they care about your growth. They are the ones who stop you from wrong even when it might cost them your approval. Such friends are rare, but they are priceless. They are not afraid to lose you for a moment if it means saving you for eternity. That is love in its purest form. And if you have even one friend like that, hold on to them, appreciate them, and thank Allah for them, because they are among the greatest gifts in life. There will come a day when every friendship will end, when people will flee from one another, when relationships will break, and every person will care only for themselves. But on that day there will be exceptions. There will be friendships that survive, those that were built upon righteousness, sincerity, and remembrance of Allah. Those companions will be honored together in the gardens of paradise. Their love will not end with death, because it was never built upon the world. It was built upon faith. So ask yourself today, what kind of friend am I? Do I remind my companions of Allah, or do I distract them from Him? Do I protect their dignity behind their backs, or do I join others in gossip? Do I lift their hearts when they are struggling, or do I only stay when they are strong? Real friendship demands sacrifice. It demands forgiveness, patience, and sincerity. It is easy to call someone a friend when times are simple, but the real test is whether you stand beside them when life gets hard. Every one of us should pray to be blessed with good companions and to be one ourselves, because a friend who leads you closer to Allah is better than 1,000 who lead you away. A companion who reminds you of your purpose is better than a crowd that helps you forget it. Surround yourself with those who care about your soul more than your image, who make you feel humble, not proud, and who make you feel closer to Allah, not to sin. That kind of company is the best protection in a world full of temptations. If you want to know the state of your heart, look at your circle. Your friends reflect your priorities, your values, and your spiritual health. If your companions help you improve, thank Allah for them. If they lead you astray, it's time to make changes. You do not have to hate them, but you must protect your heart, because your heart is the most valuable thing you own, and not everyone deserves access to it. Choose those who add peace, not pressure. Choose those who speak goodness, not gossip. Choose those who lift your eyes to heaven, not drag them to the world. A beautiful friendship is one that continues even in distance, one where duas connect hearts even when miles separate them. When you love someone for the sake of Allah, that love does not depend on constant contact. It remains alive through sincerity. You may not talk every day, but your heart still prays for them. You may not always be near, but you still wish them well. That is how pure friendship lives. It does not fade with time or space, because it was never built on worldly terms. So today, if you have someone in your life who helps you remember Allah, who listens to your pain, who celebrates your success without jealousy, and who advises you with gentleness, cherish them, tell them you are grateful. Pray for them, not only in words but in action. Be that kind of friend for someone else, because one day, when the world ends and every bond breaks, you will want to be among those whose friendship is raised again in paradise. And that begins with love that is sincere, faithful, and free from selfishness. Friendship in Islam is more than just a relationship. It is a reflection of your faith. It is one of the greatest forms of mercy when used rightly, and one of the greatest dangers when neglected. Let your friendships be sources of light, not darkness. Let them be ladders to paradise, not chains to sin. Remember that every person you walk with is either pulling you closer to Allah or pushing you away from Him. Choose wisely, love sincerely, forgive often, and pray deeply for those who stand beside you. Because in the end, the best companion is not the one who makes you laugh the most. It is the one who helps your soul find peace, who walks with you to Jannah, and who never lets go of your hand in faith. Your closest friend is not just a person who shares your laughter or your silence. They are a reflection of your heart. The people you walk with in life leave marks on your soul, even when you don't notice it happening. Their attitude, their words, their priorities, their behavior, they all slowly begin to shape who you become. A good friend can turn your heart toward goodness without even speaking, simply by the way they live. A bad friend can lead you away from Allah without meaning to, simply by normalizing what should never be normal. Friendship is a silent force, a subtle influence that shapes your spirit day after day. It is the mirror that shows who you are and who you are becoming. If your closest companion remembers Allah often, your own heart will begin to soften. If they guard their tongue, you will learn to guard yours. If they seek forgiveness, you will feel ashamed to sin. That is how powerful the company of the righteous is. It lifts you without pressure, it reforms you without force. Their humility teaches you patience, their kindness reminds you of mercy, and their worship inspires you to grow. You find yourself slowly changing, not because they ask you to, but because being near them reminds you of your purpose. That is the beauty of good companionship. It nurtures your soul the way sunlight nurtures a seed. But if your companions are careless with their faith, their influence seeps into your heart too. If they ignore prayer, soon you'll start delaying yours. If they gossip, you'll find it easier to join in. If they chase the world, your heart will begin to crave what they crave. The change doesn't happen overnight. It happens quietly, through laughter, through conversation, through shared moments that seem harmless. Before long, you realize that your focus has shifted, your heart has become heavy, and the remembrance of Allah has faded. That is how the wrong company darkens the heart, without noise, without warning. That is why Islam emphasizes the company you keep. The people around you will either polish your heart or rust it. They will either strengthen your faith or weaken it. Every person you spend time with leaves something behind, a thought, a word, an emotion, a habit. And with time, these small imprints become part of who you are. That is why the Prophet taught us that a person's faith is tied to the faith of their closest companion. Because friendship is not just about company. It is about direction. Whoever you walk with determines where you end up. So choose the ones who remind you of Allah when you forget. Choose the ones who make you feel ashamed of sin, not comfortable with it. Choose those whose eyes soften at reminders of faith, whose hearts ache for prayer, whose souls carry humility. These are the people who will protect your heart even when you don't realize you need protection. They won't let you drift away. They'll pull you back gently, through words, through love, through example. A good friend doesn't let you drown. They lift you before you sink. But remember, true companionship is not about perfection. Even the best of friends will make mistakes, but what matters is that they care enough to grow with you. They remind you, not to show superiority, but because they want to walk with you toward Jannah. They correct you not with arrogance, but with love. And when you are lost, they guide you back without judgment. These are the companions who love for the sake of Allah, whose affection is not built on worldly gain or temporary benefit. Their friendship is sincere because it is rooted in faith. There is a special peace that comes with a friendship for the sake of Allah. You feel it in the way they pray for you without you asking, in the way they defend your name when you're not there, in the way they remind you of your worth when the world makes you doubt yourself. Their presence is comfort, their absence is felt, and their prayers are blessings. You don't have to explain your heart to them. They understand because your souls share the same direction. Such friends are rare, but when Allah blesses you with even one, value them deeply. Appreciate their honesty, forgive their flaws, and make dua for their happiness. Because that friendship is not ordinary, it is a trust from Allah, a gift of mercy that continues even after death. When both of you stand before your Creator, you will remember the days you reminded each other of Him, and that remembrance will become light on your scales. You will find each other again in paradise, rejoicing in the bond that began with faith and ended in eternal peace. So take a moment to reflect on your circle. Who do you spend your time with? What kind of words fill your conversations? Do your companions make you feel closer to Allah or further from Him? These questions may seem simple, but they hold the key to your spiritual health. The heart is fragile, it absorbs what surrounds it, and sometimes the greatest act of self-care is choosing who you let near it. Be the kind of friend who brings peace, not pressure. Be the one who reminds others of their worth when they feel lost. Be the one who listens without judgment, who gives advice with kindness, who helps others heal through compassion, because friendship in Islam is not about taking, it is about giving. It is about being a source of light in someone's darkness, a voice of hope in their silence, a reason for them to smile when their world feels heavy, and never forget that the best friend you can be to someone is the one who helps them remember Allah. You don't have to preach, you just have to live your faith with sincerity. Let your character remind them of goodness, let your patience speak louder than your words, let your humility invite them to reflection. When your presence brings calm to a troubled heart, when your reminder brings someone back to prayer, when your support keeps someone from despair, that is true companionship in Islam. So surround yourself with people who nurture your soul, not drain it. Choose the company that helps you grow, not those who keep you small. And if you can't find that friend, then be that friend. Be the one who walks with others toward truth, because when you are sincere, Allah will send you hearts that mirror your own. And when your friendships are built on faith, they will last beyond this world. United in the gardens of peace, smiling, remembering how it all began with love for the sake of Allah. A true friend is not the one who simply shares your laughter or your company during easy days. A true friend is the one who stays when the world turns away, who lifts you when you fall, who prays for you in silence when you do not even know it. A real friend is someone whose presence makes you feel safe, whose reminders bring your heart back to Allah, and whose loyalty is not measured by worldly benefits, but by sincerity and love for the sake of faith. They don't just accompany you for moments of comfort, they stay through storms, through trials, through confusion. They remind you of what truly matters when everything else loses meaning. The most beautiful friendships are those that begin not with laughter, but with sincerity. You find them not because you were looking for company, but because Allah knew your heart needed a companion who would help you reach Him. This friend doesn't flatter you or encourage your ego. Instead, they speak truth even when it's uncomfortable. They care for your soul more than your pride. When you go astray, they don't mock you or abandon you. They reach for your heart with gentleness. Their reminders are not harsh but filled with love, because they see you not just as you are, but as who you can become if you walk closer to Allah. Such friends are treasures. They are the rare souls who remind you that companionship is a form of worship. Every time they call you to goodness, they earn reward. Every time they remind you of patience or prayer, they purify both your hearts. A righteous friend is like a mirror. You see your reflection through them. If your faith weakens, they notice it and help you rebuild it. If you forget your purpose, they guide you back. And when you feel broken, they remind you that Allah's mercy is greater than your pain. That is the type of love that transcends this world. It is built not on temporary interests, but on a shared journey toward the eternal. A true friend will not always agree with you, but they will always want what is best for you. They will advise you privately, not embarrass you publicly. They will comfort you when you fall short, not because they excuse your mistakes, but because they understand that faith is a journey filled with highs and lows. They will help you stand when you stumble, not with judgment, but with compassion. And when you lose yourself in the noise of the world, they will whisper your purpose back to you. They will not allow you to stay lost, because your soul matters to them more than your image. When two hearts are connected for the sake of Allah, the bond that forms between them is unbreakable. Even if life separates them by distance or time, their prayers keep them united. When one of them remembers Allah, the other benefits from that remembrance. When one of them falls into hardship, the other feels the pain as if it were their own. That connection does not fade with distance. It grows deeper through prayer, through love, through sincerity. And when both meet again, it feels like no time has passed at all, because their bond was never built on worldly conversation. It was built on remembrance and faith. On the day of judgment, when so many relationships will vanish, the companions who loved one another for the sake of Allah will be honored. Their friendship will not fade. it will be rewarded. They will stand together, faces glowing with light, remembering the times they reminded each other to be patient, to be grateful, to keep going when faith felt weak. They will rejoice because their love was pure, their intentions sincere, their bond eternal. Imagine meeting your friend again in paradise, smiling at one another, remembering the days when you prayed for each other in secret, when you supported each other in faith. That is the kind of friendship that never dies. But such companionship doesn't just happen, it must be built. It requires effort, forgiveness, understanding, and sacrifice. Sometimes you will need to overlook flaws because no one is perfect. Sometimes you will need to be patient because your friend may struggle just as you do. Sometimes you will need to give more than you receive, but in doing so you are not losing anything. You are earning reward. Every act of kindness, every sincere prayer, every word of encouragement counts in the sight of Allah. True companionship demands humility and sincerity. It asks you to love without conditions and to forgive without limits. Be the friend who reminds others of goodness. Be the one who uplifts, not the one who judges. When your companion is sad, listen with empathy. When they drift away from faith, guide them gently back. When they make mistakes, remind them of Allah's mercy. Don't abandon them when they are weak. Stand beside them, because that is when friendship matters most. You never know. Your kindness could be the reason someone returns to prayer. Your patience could be the reason someone regains hope. Your presence could be the reason someone rediscovers Allah's love. That is the beauty of friendship when it is done for His sake. It becomes a form of dawah, a means of mercy, a reflection of divine compassion. And do not forget to pray for your friends. A prayer made for someone in their absence is one of the purest forms of love. When you raise your hands and ask Allah to bless their life, to ease their pain, to forgive their sins, the angels say, and for you the same. In that moment, your friendship becomes an act of worship. It connects you both in a way that this world cannot understand. Every time you pray for their happiness, Allah writes light in your record. That is how true companions grow together, through prayer, through remembrance, through shared faith. Friendship in Islam is not a casual bond. It is a sacred trust. It is about protecting one another from harm, guiding each other toward truth, and standing together in times of trial. It is about being honest even when silence is easier, and loving even when correction is hard. It is about reminding your friend of who they are when they forget, because sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone is to believe in their goodness when they've lost sight of it. So, be the kind of friend who walks beside others not just in happiness but in faith. Be the one who gives comfort when hearts are heavy, who helps them find meaning when life feels uncertain. And when you love your friends, love them sincerely, not because of what they bring you, but because you see Allah's mercy reflected in them. When you make your friendships for His sake, you are planting seeds that will bloom in eternity. On that final day, when every worldly bond fades, you will see those same faces again, smiling, standing beside you, walking with you toward paradise. And in that moment, you will realize that friendship built upon faith never ends. It only continues in a place where sorrow no longer exists, and love is forever.